down, take a breath. Just chill for a moment. Well, welcome everybody. Sorry we're running a little late. The joys of summer construction. But our speaker is here, Cindy Hageman. For some of you all, you may have attended a couple months ago. She did a workshop for us on how to develop a PR plan and strategy, and we had great reviews on that. And I'm excited because I want to learn today on learning about Facebook and LinkedIn. Those are something, both of those tools I use daily within my job here at the Small Business, well, my office is here at the Small Business Incubator. By the way, I'm Sandy Ratliff. I'm with the Department of Small Business and Supplier Diversity. And this is a partnership with not only my organization, but Kathy Lowe, who manages the incubator, and also the Chamber of Commerce for Washington County, Nita Farmer, back there taking pictures. And this is something we've started now. We're starting our third year. It's hard to believe. And we have already scheduled over 30 workshops.
Wow.
For going through 2017. And another partner that joined us last year, I guess late last year, was the Virginia Highlands Community College Workforce Development.
So that you can get CEUs for the classes also.
And one of the things by having them as a partner, if there is something that is discussed in any of these workshops that you feel like there's more additional training that you would want, then this is where the community college comes in, workforce development, and Linda can develop those. Because we want to get you started, get your feet wet, and then if you need additional help, help is on the way if you need it. So I'm going to turn it over to Cindy. A couple of things, housekeeping. Please turn off all your devices so that you don't interrupt this sweet lady and make her lose her train of thought. I've had that happen before. If you did not get it, there's a copy of her presentation, so if you want to take notes during that, and for those of you that may be joining us via streaming, if you want to send us a message on Facebook or live stream that you want a copy or a link to get the presentation, just note that in the comments section and I'll get that to you. We have, as I mentioned, we have a lot of workshops coming up, and I'll talk about those at the end. But another thing, there is an evaluation that's important to us as the team that's putting this program together. Is we want to know your feedback, what other training that you need, if you need additional assistance, or if there's just you're looking at expanding your business and need help or launching a new business. We're getting ready to launch the 2017 Washington County Business Challenge in January, so there'll be more information and flyers on that. That's $5,000 that will be given away to a startup and $5,000 to an existing business expansion that's located here in Washington County. So, and by the way, for a plug, we're about the only community in Virginia that is solely financed by the community. It's not going out looking for grants. It's the local county administration in the town of Abington are actually investing and helping folks get started. So that's something that I'm very proud of as a resident, that they're investing. So with all that, I will turn that over to Cindy Hageman. Thank you.
Hi. Just trying to make sure. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? Okay, because there's a couple of seats over here if you need. This is this. Do you want the lights down a little bit now? Sorry. No, I'm right in front of the thing. Like, okay. Good. Okay. Perfect. Sorry for the delay. Let's get moving and give you a little time to like start your lunch, talk to each other, which is always kind of a good thing. So I would imagine you're here, just like Sandy, to learn a little bit more about what the difference between being on Facebook as a business, being on LinkedIn as a business. Is that correct? How many of you, just a show of hands, have a Facebook business page? Okay, good, good. How many have a LinkedIn company page? Okay, good. So about the same amount, the same number. Okay, that's good. So when Sandy asked me if I could do this class, I was like, wow, that's an interesting topic. I normally train LinkedIn, and I'm well versed in Facebook. It's not like my expertise, but you know, like everybody else probably in the room, you know, I'm on it and I do things, and I do social media for other companies. So I thought, well, this would be an interesting task to kind of see what there really is a difference in and what's best. So well, let's go forward. by
The right.
to the right. Okay, so how many? These are some common. I found this cartoon. So you don't want to network, blog, pay for advertising, have a website, or do any marketing whatsoever. How do you expect to attract clients? Magic? So, don't we all hear that from a lot of people? I don't want to do any of that, or I don't have time for this. Time is what we hear. So it's true. We all want it to just happen magically. So, one thing that we all know is Facebook, the large consumer base, is typically B2C, which stands for business to consumer. So basically when you're, oh gosh, I'm sorry, I'm your big X on the floor. So when you're posting on Facebook, you're posting to a lot of consumers. So if your audience is generally your demographic, say, okay, I'll give an example. I worked for a large company here, and our demographic was to market to, one of our demographics was mothers, so young mothers between, 22 to 35 years old. So we would market products and the things that we carried to this demographic. And so that was a definitely B2C, because we were doing recipes and all kinds of things that the moms would want to see. So those were the products that we promoted within that as well. So you got to be thinking who your end user is and what you want to project out to that end user. So always think of that. And obviously you could have several different categories of end users too. So for instance, that particular company I was talking about, we had really 3 different scenarios of demographics that we targeted. And you can look on your demographics on Facebook and kind of see who your followers are and find out who that is. So we actually had we had males between 25 and like 45 who liked the outdoors and like to hike and fish and things like that too. And then we had the how do I put this nicely? Old people like me. So the people who like to, who maybe their kids were already out of the house, but they like to cook and raise chickens, things like their dogs, things like that. So so you have to think of that. So LinkedIn, on the other hand, totally different for your end users. So you're marketing to business professionals then. Now they might be a mom that has kids and they might like to hike, but typically it's a professional environment, and that's the type of information you put out there. So like a recipe would not be appropriate to put out on LinkedIn, for instance, although I'm singing things these days that kind of drive me crazy. So it's hard for me to stand here. I want to walk. Glue my feet to the floor, Sandy. That would be better. Can y'all even see? Can I try to go down? I just feel like I'm like right in the way. So I did some comparisons, and this I found it kind of interesting. Like talk about Facebook. I don't know if you can see the blue, but Facebook on the left and LinkedIn is on the right. So you've got a valuable consumer base on Facebook. You've got groups that you can join, which you should, and social followings. It's fun. It's an engaging environment. The connections on Facebook are typically closer because you typically know those people somehow. You might have gone to school with them, or there may be different environments. It might be your neighbors, things like that. There's over 900 million users on Facebook. That's a lot. They don't have paid accounts, but they do a lot of advertising that you can purchase. And then B2C, again, like we talked about, LinkedIn offers advanced search options, which if you don't know about those advanced search options, if you're looking, you need to look into that or ask me and I can help you with it. It's a professional network. This is typically someone's online resume, so I like to to tell people that when you build your profile, your individual profile, that's your online resume. That is your brand for people to know who you are. So if you represent a company, you are representing that company as well as yourself. So it all needs to kind of marry to each other with that company page. Join groups. I also like to think of it as a virtual rolodex. So my particular situation, LinkedIn, has been one of the reasons it's been real attractive to me is my husband's retired Navy submarine commander. So for 27 years, we moved all over the country and did a lot of things. When I found out about LinkedIn back in 2003, 2004, I thought this is kind of cool because I can put all my contacts in here, connect with people, and then when we move someplace else, I don't have to worry about figuring out how to reconnect with people. They're already right here, and that was one of the things that was really attractive to me and as a user for LinkedIn. Versus where Facebook is you have connections, but you don't have that information to people. You just, you can send them a message, but you don't have their information on what they do or what their expertise is for business. SlideShare. Anybody use SlideShare? I knew you would raise your hand. If you don't know SlideShare, you should know SlideShare. It's a wonderful, wonderful free thing that LinkedIn owns. I actually used it before LinkedIn purchased it, and you probably did too, because Sandy, you love that kind of stuff. But SlideShare is, if you're looking for a particular presentation or if you're looking for anything, you look it up in SlideShare within LinkedIn, and people share their presentations. Like I may share this one to SlideShare, and you can just Google kind of the topic, and all these presentations come up that then you are free to kind of use things and look at them. You get inspiration. I do have to say I didn't look at SlideShare for this presentation. I should have. Now I'm like, ooh, why didn't I? But just a disclaimer. But normally I do. That's like if somebody says do this. It's such a great tool. And there's presentations from all over the world there, so you'll see some interesting things. And you wouldn't want to take somebody's presentation and just copy and steal it and take it as your own. But you could, if you see some things, it's like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. And
I use it too when you upload a presentation, or I also use it for flyers.
Yes.
Because the great thing is, if you upload your content, when you go to your account, it's going to tell you how many people is connected to it and has viewed it, or if they've downloaded it. And if you want to share a presentation or flyer that's too large for a partner or something, you can just send them the link to that. And you can even put the link on your website or on your social media channel or what have you. I've used it for probably 8 years or more.
Yeah, before it became a LinkedIn thing. And the other thing is, if you are trying to be a thought leader in your industry, this is a great place to share your presentations. Yes?
Is this steel only, or is it also motion?
What did you say? Steel?
Is it just
Do-
brochures? You can't put
Your
you
animation.
put
Oh,
video.
and I don't think.
If video is in your presentation, it will
It'll
show
pop
that
up.
there is a link. It
Yeah,
can
but it's
text
not
that there's
like
a YouTube video
transitions and
embedded in it.
Okay.
Animation and transition, I don't think.
But it's really, I would use a different method if it's
Okay, so that's what I was wondering,
I think it's just a
because
scale.
the wording leads you to think that it was steel, but I wasn't sure.
yeah.
Okay, so, and LinkedIn offers lots and lots of paid accounts. In that fact, they're going more and more in that direction, which is a little frightening to me. But it is what it is, and with Microsoft just purchasing it, I don't know if it'll change or not. Okay, so for business purposes, let's talk about that. So Facebook offers business business pages. They offer pretty easy to set up. I do see a lot of Facebook pages that aren't correctly set up or all the way. Like when you go to set up your business page, go ahead and fill in the information. It's asked you for company's description and your address and your phone number. You would be surprised at how many times I go in and that stuff isn't even filled out. It's like people think, oh, that's not important. Everybody knows where we are. No, they don't. No, they don't. If they're looking for you, they need to know how to find you. and what you're about. Put your descriptions in there. There's a short description, a long description. I mean, it gives you lots of opportunity to put things in there. Do you have to do it all at one sitting? No, but at least do it. The other thing that I have seen that a lot of Facebook business pages do not do is verify their page. And you should probably write this down if you have a business Facebook page, that yours may not be verified. And if you have not taken, you're shaking your head, so you've done it.
Well, the community, there's certain stipulations to get verified.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk about that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I don't know them all.
Yeah.
So you correct me if I'm off on the wrong track. So Facebook pages, as a business, once you verify them, it gives you the credibility that you are a legitimate business. So basically, one of the easiest ways to do it is to submit an email. Did you do this? And then with the phone number, and then they call your business, and it's a recording, but you write down a code, and then that code gets put in, and it gets verified as a legitimate business. It needs to be a business phone number. It can't be your cell phone number. And so it has to be like a brick and mortar type business to do that. I did recently verify another company through, how did I do it? Oh, I had to scan documents and send them in. I'd never done that before. I'd always been able to do it by phone, but for this company we weren't able to. And I scanned some tax documents of theirs to prove that they were a legitimate company. And within a few days, I got an email back that said it had been verified. So do that. Take the time to do it. Yes, sir.
Does LinkedIn have the same criteria or way to verify?
Not that I know of. Does anybody know anything different? The only thing with LinkedIn is I do know this about a company page. You cannot start a company page unless you have a company email address. So it can't be a Gmail address or a Yahoo address. It has to be the email address for your company to start that company page. And I get questions, I get people all the time that say, they're not letting me set one up, why? And that's why if you don't have a legitimate company business email, you can't set one up. And you as an end user on LinkedIn, you have to have either 50 or 100 connections to do it as well. And I can't remember which one it is, but I think it might be 100, but I can check that if anybody wants to know.
When you say 50 or 100 connections,
with other people.
With
This is your individual profile. So if Facebook and LinkedIn work the same, you have to have an individual profile in order to set up a company profile. And that's how they both run. So with LinkedIn, you have to set up your individual profile, and your address has to be that company email, and you have to have individual connections with people that I believe are 100 people. It might be 50, but it's one or the other. And have a decent. You can't just like put your name in there, an email, and then just start your company business. That's kind of their way of verifying that you're a legitimate business. Is that you've got some connections, you've got this email address, you've got information on your page. You're not just starting something up.
if you need to transfer, and if I'm getting off topic, if you need to transfer account, like I'm a director of a place and the new director comes in.
You add them as an admin?
Just add them to it.
Yeah, on the back end of the, when you go into your settings for managing your page, you can add or take off anybody as an admin. I actually had to do this yesterday. I used to run a nonprofit page, and a new director came in, and they contacted me and said, "Hey, can you make me an admin on the page?" And so I actually made her an admin, but it was good that they had me on there because the other director had left, and there wouldn't have been anybody else to kind of run the page in the meantime while they're so it's better, always better to have at least 2 people as admins on your pages for obvious reasons. I mean, people leave, and if they leave disgruntled, there's no way that anybody else can get back in there. So be safe with that. I thought I saw a hand. I did see a hand.
So that has me thinking. So that original person could never get off, though, right? Like if you
Yeah.
set it up,
Yeah.
you can be gone now.
Absolutely.
And
I'm out of
it's
there.
associated with the other person.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. Out with the old, in with the new. Yep. It's that simple. You know, just click, click, click. It's just a matter of you know, they don't really look at it like you're the original founding whatever. It's more or less who's running this and who's taking care of it and who needs. And both LinkedIn and Facebook do a good job recognizing that people do leave companies, and I think that's wise. So and on LinkedIn, on your business page, you can have followers on there, which is really nice. You know, people are always like, oh, I've only got, you know, so many followers. I can't get, you know. This is my theory with that. I think it's good to have followers, but if you're not putting content on there and you're not making it interesting, no one's going to follow you anyway. But you know, on LinkedIn, it's no big deal to just follow people. On Facebook, we'll talk about that for just a second. If you like a business page, this is super important. Don't just click the like if you actually want to see their news feed. You have to click the like, let the drop down come, and you decide whether you want to see their stuff in your news feed or not. That's a pretty new feature. It used to be you just liked it and you saw their stuff. Now if you do not let the drop down come and click that you want to see their posts, you won't see it. So I get this question all the time too. Oh, I've liked their page, but I don't see their posts. That's why, because you haven't allowed. I mean, so that being said, I get asked all the time to like pages. So if I don't want to see the news feed, I can just like the page. And then at any time I decide, well, you know what, that's a, you know, I really want, do you want to see what they're doing? I can go in and change that and then change it back if I don't want to. So anybody can do that, and I recommend people to do that. One thing that, two things that I really like about Facebook business pages. You can store photos on there, and photos and videos, very, very good for your business. And you can show events. A lot of people don't use this feature, but if you're having some kind of an event, whether it's a nonprofit or any type of thing, you know, do actually fill out the event section. And then and you can send it out to people, and it gets more and more traction. So when I get, especially for nonprofits, or I get things across my feed for people that I follow that have liked something, or and I see an event, whether I'm going or not, I usually click interested, and then it goes out to all of my people that I'm interested in this event. Doesn't mean that I'm going, it just means that I'm interested in it. And you wouldn't believe the number of people that contact me that are like friends, and they'll say, oh, are you going to this event? And you're going to, you know, and it automatically starts, and I'm like, no, I'm not going. The other day somebody asked me, I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. But it was something that I had to click but it was just to kind of help promote so keep that in mind if you see something that you want to help promote, especially for nonprofits, because we all know how hard it is as nonprofits to get events out there. It's just a free thing that you can do, and it's not a big deal. It costs you nothing, so it's super easy. Do you have a question on that? So you get all that. You do paid ads, and you can boost posts. Has anybody ever boosted a post? You have. Mm-hmm. Have you had good success with it?
Well, initially it got accepted as a post, and then they came back a few hours later, and said that it didn't meet their criteria.
What?
It was for a seminar.
What? Oh, because it didn't need to be an event? They tell you why?
I don't remember. They did.
Okay. I didn't know there was all the picky criteria on that.
Yeah.
But normally what you would do is you could pay $5 and you could boost a post to kind of see how far it can go. It can be pretty cheap. It can be... Somebody else had their hand. Was it you, Kent? Who was it? No? Oh, Nita?
We do for our business challenge.
So you do it, but you... And that's an event. So you... Okay, so... I don't know what you did.
Well, that's...
But we have different things like if you're... With ours, too.
Have you?
I've heard like if photos have too much words in them,
Yeah.
or things, they may think your photos are spam or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've done it several times and always had good success, but I must not be as advanced as you guys to be like, you know, because I just like do it, you know, and
So
don't
what
think
does it
about it.
do? What does it do?
Thank you.
You put in keywords that you want to reach out to people, like I typed in realtors, mortgages, things like that, so that if someone was interested in that in their profile, it would pull those ads into them, I guess is how it works.
Yeah, and it feeds you. So if you hit that you want to boost a post, it actually asks for a demographic that you want to boost it to.
I'll tell you how many people.
We just, we have a new facility, reentry
Where
recovery
do you work?
facility opening, Fairview Housing. We are opening Bristol Lifestyle Recovery, and WJHL TV did a news piece last week.
Oh, okay.
And we linked it on our new Facebook page and boosted it, and it went to over 3,000 people.
That's nice. That's nice. Kent?
I was just gonna add, Facebook's rule on a boosted post or graphic, the text can be more than 20%.
Okay, did you hear that?
So if they don't want a bunch of text in there, basically.
Okay, text can't be more than 20% is what he said the rule is. And I believe him. He's calm.
If it is, it's very challenging when you're trying to do an ad.
Yeah.
There's something you want to say, but they limit,
I know.
very
Well,
much.
yeah. I like to get a little wordy. You know, it's kind of hard. So, what was your question? Did you have a question?
That's what they're looking at.
Oh.
She asked, could you cheat if you put the text in, create an image, Photoshop it?
Actually, like, the way that I do it, a lot of times disclaimers, like if, I work at Harley Davidson.
That's
So,
right.
like,
We've met you before.
Yeah, so if like, we're selling a bike, a new bike, we have to put a disclaimer in, like, you know, that it's so much this month, you have to pay so much down, blah, blah, blah. And they'll typically take those even if you have more than 20%.
Really?
Disclaimer, yeah. But now even if your logo has wording in it, they'll knock you for your having your logo on there.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so don't do that. Do it, play with it, you know, see how it works for you. It may not work for you. You know, I'm actually one of these people who I love to see the organic searches and love to see how things can go, just kind of how far they can go without doing things. But every once in a while, you need that little, you know, that little push. So, so try it if you want to. If you want to like have some headaches. So going back over here, we've got analytics. Actually, analytics are pretty good with both. Where, you know, you can go in the background and kind of see. I mean, they're not great, but they're, at least you can see who's looked at things, who liked things. You know, you can see activity on your page, which I think anybody, when you're working a page and you're trying to grow, it's exciting to see activity. You're just like, oh, good, it's going up. You know, it's nice. You can use hashtags within Facebook. It's not ever been really greatly used, but they can be used. So if you use a hashtag within Facebook, you can search by hashtags. They don't have that feature within LinkedIn. I don't know if they ever will. But you can also, you know, tag people with the at symbol and things like that in both, which is always good to do. And Facebook business pages. I love this feature that you can post in advance. Do y'all do that? Silence.
You do, don't you? No.
I love that feature. Love, love, love. Now you can, you know, we've had discussion, you know, recently Kent and I have about all the platforms that you can use to do all your posting and stuff. But Facebook has better analytics and it's so much better if you post ahead of time and then you can kind of see how things go. They do a pretty good job, I think, of letting you know what's going on with your posts. Especially when you post ahead of time, you might, you know, post like a month out and then you kind of forget, you know, what the post is. But then you get things from Facebook that says, oh, your post is doing really well, or, you know, it tells you when it has actually gone live. I mean, it does all of that, which is good information for you. And then I'm always like, oh, what did I post? You know, and I have to go back. But these are on business pages, and it's a really good feature, and I encourage people to use it. In fact, I worked for a huge company doing social media, and we did have a big social media platform that we did all of our Twitter and everything on. But we always posted directly on Facebook because we thought the analytics were better. And so that's just a little, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But at least with this situation, it was. And it's pretty easy to do, too. Okay, so just some tips. So with Facebook, you have to be very responsive. Obviously, that's super, super important. So it's, and I think people, I'm one of these people that you should post every day on Facebook. You should be on there. You should be present. You should, people are active now. People want to know what's going on. LinkedIn, you don't have to be as active on. You can post, I say a couple times a week is usually what I think is good enough. But if you go to a page, and I do this all the time, and there hasn't been anything posted for a month, 2 months, even 2 weeks, you think, gosh, they're not very active. Are they in touch with their consumer base? Are they in touch with, are they just so busy with life and running their business that they're not keeping up with what's going on with their consumer base and what we need? So they keep that in mind too, what your end user. Now, I don't believe you will read, this is just my rule of thumb about the posting, but Kent, I'm sure Catherine, you too, you read all kinds of stuff where people say, oh, you have to post 6 times a day and you have to do this. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm just saying. I mean, you can do that if you want, but, that's, I feel like, and I don't want to be bombarded with a ton of stuff that just isn't that important. Post a few things that are important, and stay away from politics. Stay away from those type of things. Obviously, right now it's getting a little bit more difficult. But I saw something the other day which I thought was interesting. That if you did want to post something political, because things are happening right now, don't be negative, and don't, especially as a business, don't show certain sides. You could just post something and say, hey, this is what's happening, or be more generic about it, because the last thing you want to do as a business is offend somebody because of what you believe, politics, or whatever it is. We just have to be really mindful of that. That maybe this is something you believe, but you have to be really careful. Also, if you have, this is Southwest Virginia, and, Tri-Cities, Tennessee is also involved in this community as well. The things that we do here and believe, if you have consumers that are outside of this area, so, say you are marketing to California, New York, Ohio, different places, or maybe even different places in the world, you have to be mindful of that as well, that there's different things. So I saw, for instance, in one of the recent tragedies that had happened, we've had so many lately, where people were coming out and saying, oh, we're so sorry for this. I saw one business just do their normal post about, and I thought, it was a really inappropriate kind of post. They didn't mean it to be, but it was just the timing of it. It was probably something they had done ahead of time. That's another thing about being careful about what you post ahead of time. I always, I may not know exactly what's going to be posted on a certain day, but I certainly know that if something comes up, I'm like, oh, I know I've got a post coming up about that, and I need to change that or check that. So just be cautious of that as well. I like to have a social media calendar. If you haven't done that, that's a good thing to do. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can do it in Word, you can do it in Excel, however you want to do. So you can post. What I like to do, this is just me, but I go through each month, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 30, 31, whatever the month is, and I look up different holidays or different kind of, National Hot Dog Day, whatever, and look, and then I go through and I'm like, is that relevant? Is it not relevant to what I want to my brand? Then fill in with advertising, fill in with stuff about brand, your brand, but you've got to have that fluff to kind of make it kick too. So everybody doesn't want to just be sold, advertised, and stuffed down their throat all the time about how wonderful your company is. So just be mindful of that. Today, for instance, today is the anniversary of the first walk on the moon, and that, if you lived through that, which Oh, excuse me, I'll keep talking. If you lived in that era like I did, what a wonderful time to have been alive, because weren't we all excited about the space race and that was such a time, and we've gotten away from that now, and it would be nice to kind of get back into those kind of fun things, the astronauts and the things that were going on during. I lived in Florida, so we used to go and camp out on the Indian River and watch the launches. And you talk about, that would have been great. You talk about an exciting time in history as a little kid, to be like woken up in the middle of the night because the launch is about to go off or something. I mean, you're from Florida, you might have done some of the same thing. But those are my memories of the good, watching it go up, and they would like to launch them kind of at night or when it was a little bit dark, so you'd have this huge glow in the sky. It was a really neat time. But this is the anniversary of Neil Armstrong's walk on the moon. Posting that American flag, remember that? So that is a great example of a post that anybody could do on their page. And it's appropriate for LinkedIn. It's appropriate for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, probably more, Snapchat, whatever else you're on. But because of the generics of it, but excitement at the same time, American pride, all that kind of stuff. So there's not a lot of topics out there that are that generic, that are appropriate. That one certainly is. So keep those things in mind. So when you're looking for these unusual holidays, you can actually Google and you'll find websites that give them to you. So when I found that the walk on the moon a while ago for my calendar, I was really excited because it brought me back to like that era. I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then I got looking. So on my social media calendar, it'll say what channels I'm going to post in. So in that situation, it was like check, 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 because it was appropriate. You don't see that very often. Usually it's just, okay, this is only for LinkedIn. Oh, this is only for Facebook. So National Hot Dog Day, I probably would not put that on LinkedIn. Just saying. But if I worked for Oscar Mayer, I probably would be all over that. But you know what I'm saying? You just have to be mindful of what the holiday is and what it. But that's a good one. So you could still post it today, by the way.
Is the calendar just a reminder to you, or does it?
Do you remember everything? I have to write it down. That's what it is for me.
I didn't know whether it was interactive, and you could put things in.
Mine is not. It is certainly just my reminders. I have to write everything down, and it's just my way of glancing, and I like to work ahead of time. So I'm working a month, 2 months, whatever, that needs to happen. But the calendar is really nice for me to look at it and see. So also, just talking about the calendar, I like to look at local events that are going on and post them as well. And especially Facebook is a wonderful place to promote, Fun Fest or whatever's going on. If you support a nonprofit, you can post those things on Facebook. It shows a great partnership within your company and to promote things like that. Colleges, they have events all the time. When you should follow them and share their stuff too. Again, great partnerships. It shows good community involvement, things that are going on. So it's all really good stuff. And you guys probably do some type of. You probably have a calendar somewhere on your website with all the classes, all the events and stuff. Do you work there too?
She takes care of the webpage.
I'm looking at her now.
She's the important
Melinda,
one.
you just turn away.
I just give her stuff. She puts it on there.
So,
she does the work.
So if I went to your webpage, could I find all the events? See, that's a great way to do it. Think who you want to support. Go to their webpage. You could probably call her and go, hey, can you send that to me? Because they love it when you want to support their stuff and promote it. Let's face it, who wouldn't? So be mindful of what's in your community. This place right here we should all be supporting the events and promoting the events that are, just saying, they're free, they're not charging you anything to walk in that door, and they're giving you, you know, decent training. With the exception of today, it's excellent. But you know what I'm saying? These are the type of things in your community that you should support and promote. So when you know there's an event coming up, there's no reason you shouldn't be sharing it.
Each of the towns have calendars with events. The chambers of commerce have that.
Chambers, absolutely.
They're good ones to share.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm shocked, and you probably are too, that more people don't do it. They see things and they're just like, I might go to that, but they don't like it, they don't share it, they don't, you know, I'm like, come on people, we all have to communicate to each other. And, you know, if I see Melinda might be going to something because I follow her, I might go, oh, I might even, you know, message her, Melinda, what's that about? You know, that's kind of cool. So, you know, it's a great way to communicate with each other and to promote our local events that need that. So if you're a business, you should be supporting other, and you know, I believe in supporting other businesses too, but especially nonprofits and organizations like this. I'm off my soapbox now, but
Checking in is another way.
checking in, very good, very good. Did you check in?
I did.
You know that everybody knows what that means?
No.
So as an individual, I didn't think you would, but you know, we can do a remedial class for you. He was in my LinkedIn class yesterday, so it was like finally stop asking questions. We'll just talk about this later.
Free tutoring 101.
Yeah, he's a fellow lefty though, so I
I'll
always,
give you half a sandwich.
yeah, and I'll take when you check in, it's under your individual account. So when you go someplace, you can go pull up your individual account and basically check in that you're at someplace. And it looks for this facility and it promotes whatever's going on here. So it shows people, hey, you know, you were at this event and hey, you know, it's kind of cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it is. It's really neat. I'm sorry, Peter.
Sorry, I didn't take it.
I know you could. I heard you could. I've got the 80-20 rule up there when we were talking about fun stuff versus business stuff. I do more like 70-30, just saying. I think. Bless you. Then, everybody's so kind. And everybody's a little bit different with this, but I've actually worked with a lot of companies who just post business, you know, and I'm like, okay, we gotta mix this up a little bit, you know. So if you want to do it, 80-20 is a typical rule, so 80% business, 20% Neil Armstrong, or you know, but you know, just stay within some parameter of that. You don't want to post all business, and you don't want to post all hot dog days, you know. So just, you know, keep it along the lines of your brand and what you want to represent. And you know, share things when you see it. Like and comment. You know, this is what it's supposed to do. So do it. I encourage you to do it. No one's gonna judge you. Just do it. You know, I tell people all the time, do it. And they're like, oh, like, I clicked that button. What's gonna happen? And I'm like, just do it. You know, it's fun. You know. And that's when I talked to my 85-year-old father who I got on Facebook. I'm like, Dad, like stuff. You know. He's like, what? You know, why do people care what I like? You know, and now I can't get him to stop. So I'm like, okay, calm down, Dad. You know, that's like. So on LinkedIn, again, you're only posting your business content. So be mindful of not posting your hot dog day stuff. I like to tell people a couple times a week, and that kind of so. That's your business page. Your company page should, at minimum, be updated once a week. So, you know, your personal one for LinkedIn, you could do, you know, kind of, you know, the same, or you could do it a couple times a week. But business, at least once a week. Nobody wants to go on there and see, like, oh my gosh, I haven't posted in 6 months, or, you know. So, the other thing, a little trick. So, if you post on your company page, right, and you're the admin, after you post it, they make it a little bit complicated on LinkedIn. People may notice that. So Facebook jumping all over the place, but you post on your company page on Facebook, right? You can click whether you're posting as you or your company. You guys familiar with that? And I always like the post as my company, then I like it as me, and then if it's a post that I think is kind of cool, I'll share it on my personal page to give it more oomph, you know, and hopefully more people will like, share, post. You know, it helps it get out there a lot. LinkedIn makes it a little bit more complicated. So you're on there as an admin and you post something about the anniversary of the moonwalk, for instance. So you're on your company page. To my knowledge, and if anybody knows differently, let me know. Right now, you can't really do anything about that as your person. So do you know any different with that? Catherine, do you know any different with that? Sandy, do you? Nita? So what I do is then I go back to my news feed because I follow the page, and then I see it in my news feed. Then I like it as me and share it as me if I choose to do so. Makes it a little bit more complicated. It's extra steps, but it's well worth it if it's something that you want to get out there a little bit more. So don't just post it on your company page and assume, like Cracker Barrel, everybody will come, once you build it. So it's not necessarily, But don't you notice that? You can put a Cracker Barrel anywhere and it's like packed, It's just, which always makes me jealous. From a marketing standpoint, that's really not the way it's supposed to work. You're not supposed to put a building out in the middle of nowhere with no real access to get there, but put a giant sign up that you can see for miles, and people are like, and the old people can find it? Oh my goodness. I'm always like, how did they get back here?
I think the dollar store is following that business
Is it?
model because they're putting dollar stores and general dollar stores everywhere.
And people will come.
You would think, why would that be here?
Yeah. In the middle of nowhere, small towns.
So they must have heard the secret.
Yeah, but see, don't do that if you just have a regular business. Not the business model that will necessarily work. That's an exception. So anyway, I think we've kind of hammered this page to death. Okay, and I looked at advantages. How are we doing on time?
You're good.
Okay, so as far as advantages, I kind of clicked around and looked for different things. Your Facebook advantages are that you can, as an individual, join groups, and you can reach so many people on Facebook. The normal average consumer, if you're really searching for your demographic, they're probably on Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook, so except the 20-year-olds. If your demographic is under 30, you probably need to be on Instagram or Snapchat, some of these other Twitter, some places like that. But Facebook is gotten to be, obviously, for, like my kids say, it's for old people, like things. So, in fact, I say to my kids, I haven't seen you post on Facebook lately. Oh, Mom, so yesterday, so I'm like, okay.
I even like to like my own things, and my kids are like, why are you liking your picture? I said, well, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't put it on there.
Yeah, and if I didn't like it, no one else would, so...
I'm starting the likes.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good one. I want to bring
Just
that back.
don't look at my stuff then.
Yeah, I'm blocking you.
I'll be the critic.
That's right. You're just going to be a critic or a hater, forget it. I'm
They're like,
saying
why did you like your picture? Because I liked it.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't put it on there.
That's a mom for you. And why are you looking at my stuff? So, Facebook has a news feature, which I think has gotten a lot better. It's over on the right-hand column. The other thing that I really like about it is if there's some news that pops up that you just don't like or want to see, you can exit and it'll stop sending you that kind of stuff. So it's trying to bring you the news that you want. LinkedIn has done that feature as well. It's a little harder. You have to go on the back end and actually click the topics that you want to see. You can on your news feed, if you don't like a certain topic, you can unsubscribe, or you can say, I don't want to, you can hide this, and they're using you to send you what, obviously they only want to send you stuff that you want, so they're, you're kind of the, a test dummy.
And Valentina said hi, but she also said that 20%, if you have more than 20% of your text on your Facebook ad, excuse me, gets unapproved by Facebook.
That's what Ken had said too. Thanks, Valentina. She's actually the Facebook guru, by the way. Which originally, when you asked me to do this class, I reached out to her and I said, "Hey, can we tag team and do this class together?" I thought that would be kind of fun. You know, like make it really fun, like split the room down the. You know, this is LinkedIn, this is Facebook. But she had family obligations. She got 2 little ones and couldn't get a sitter and stuff. But I thought that'd be kind of fun. So we ought to try to do something like that.
Maybe we need a streamer on one side of the screen there.
But wouldn't that be fun to, like, you know, have something kind of, you know, really cool with it? And anyway, it's you're stuck with me for right now, but we'll get through this. But thank you, Valentina. Chime in when you need to. I like the messaging option on Facebook. Do people use that in this room? Mm-hmm. And you can download that Messenger app, which I find very, very handy. In fact, it's one of the main ways I communicate with my son who lives in Hong Kong, is through the Messenger app. And it works very, very well. So it's worth it to download that Messenger app. And you know, it helps you communicate, and it's free. Why not, right? Facebook, you can do contests and you can do polls on there, which are really nice. And there's on the back end, if you want to do a contest, you can go in there. You can do your own, of course, but they have things set up that you can do it. So if you're a small business and you're looking for more engagement, contests are a great way to do it. I thought I saw your hand go up. Yours, yeah, it's like being at an auction.
I know. Yeah.
Has anybody done a Facebook contest? Can't you want to tell us about it? No?
I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, if you want to reach more people, you want to...
What did you give away?
We've done...
He works for High Road Digital, by the way.
We've done a variety of different contesting, from sweepstakes to cute pet contests to super surveys, just... So there's a variety.
It does increase engagement almost instantly.
Absolutely, and it's a great way to add to your database.
Yeah.
So every contest requires an email address, so...
Yeah, it helps. Now, in the back, you had your hand up. Did you do a contest?
I'm not with the current position, but in my former position, we work in the recreation department.
Oh.
And once a month, we would do like a name this animal or name this park location or.
Oh, fun. So you'd like post a picture?
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Like the first.
Was it for kids or adults?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Because I probably wouldn't be able to do very good on it. Kids,
You would have to use Google, wouldn't you?
I would. I'd be like, what is that animal? Lemur?
Is there any way to tell those that are legit, all those share and make a comment and tell your sister about it because you're going to be entered to win? You know, I hope I win the Porsche one day that I keep entering, but...
Oh, I'm waiting for the Tesla.
And there's a
Pops
big
up and it
RV
says,
that
Melinda
everybody's
likes
sharing.
the Porsche.
Yeah.
You like it too.
Yeah.
So
We're friends.
the best way that I do, if I see something when people do that, especially if it's like Microsoft is giving away blah blah blah, well, forget that. That's not
No,
true.
I don't do those. Yeah. I'm not that gullible.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. I don't know her that well.
We're getting to know each other.
Oh, you crack me up.
We get our toes done together, by the way.
Yeah, and we're on a board for the American Red Cross together.
Pretty
too.
intimate.
It's very intimate, yeah. I mean, I just kind of look at the contest. I mean, obviously, there are some out there that are fake. Does anybody have a rule of thumb of what you do and what you don't do? No?
If it's too good to be true, I usually that's
Yeah, and I'll Google it. Like, you know, you can go to that Snopes.com and stuff. They'll tell you if something's fake right off the bat. And I'm the first one that if I see somebody post, I'm like, I go there and I'm like, you know, y'all need to shut this down because it just causes so much stuff on the internet. You know, like the one lately that's been going around again about Facebook privacy and how, you know, as of midnight tonight, all your, you know, I'm like, this is so old, you people, and it's not even true, you know, like, stop enough, you know. If you have to copy and paste something and then share it, oh, it's probably.
And I have a girlfriend that's so superstitious, she does them all.
I couldn't follow
She
her.
does it all.
I mean, you can be
posts it
friends
all,
with somebody,
sends it.
you just don't have to get their posts, and I do that a lot, especially during political season. But, you know, because
I had a lot of people.
I'm just like, please, you know. But there are, you know, do some contests, play around with it a little bit, have some fun with it. I love the one that you did about the name this, name that. Now, it wouldn't work for every business, obviously, but working for the Parks and Recs, that's a great thing to do. But you can be creative, and you can talk about it with younger people, too, to try to get some ideas. I would think Harley-Davidson could do some really fun things. I mean, yeah.
You giving away a Harley today? We are not giving away a Harley today.
What about tomorrow? I don't ride, but you know I could.
You're looking at media.
Yeah, but you know I would think you guys could get really creative and have some fun things.
That's too good to be true.
LinkedIn, again, we've got SlideShare. Lynda.com is a paid subscription. If you don't know about it, look it up. I actually pay for Lynda.com. It's courses, it's classes. So if you want to learn Excel, if you want to learn Photoshop, if you want to, I mean, there's thousands and thousands and thousands. So I have a paid account. I can't remember how much it is, $100 a year or something like that. But I give my password and stuff to all my kids too, so if they want to learn, because there are. Yes, I will give it. Yes, absolutely, for $100. I will.
Come to the community college and take those classes.
Yes, and you can do that as well. You would actually get better one-on-one. But this is just like mini things, like if you just need to know something little. But it's good, and it'd probably be a lot cheaper to take them in person. That here's your virtual Rolodex like we talked about. Does everybody know what a Rolodex is? I'm looking for lines on the face. Aha, you don't know, do you? I know how old you are. You don't know. Groups. I love groups. Let me say it again. Love groups in LinkedIn. And they, in fact, Catherine and Kent and I have just started a new networking group. It's just, I'm plugging it. Because Sandy can't stop me right now unless she shuts me down. If things going to go shh on the air. So it's just, it's a Virginia, Tennessee, Tri-Cities business networking group on LinkedIn. It's only got a few members right now. We're building it. We hope to get people of all different walks of life kind of communicating just from this area. We want to keep it local. We want to keep it non-salesy. We want to keep it just networking. You never know who you are going to meet who might be able to help you with your business. And this is the type of environment we want to create. And we want to have some actual fun networking events and do some things maybe once a quarter, have people actually get together from that group and stuff. So if you are interested in joining it, send me a LinkedIn connection. My name is Cindy Hagman, and I will send you an invite to it. Or you can probably even search it within LinkedIn. It doesn't have a lot of members, only has like 28 members, I think, right now, so I don't know how searchable it was. But if you put Tri-Cities or try some different, it might. Have y'all tried to search it yet? I haven't.
Yeah, I didn't find it.
You didn't find it? So send me a connection on LinkedIn, and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I will say on groups, I'm a lover of that as well, because it's helped me get out of.
Do you love it?
Love. Because when I get one of those hard questions, especially in a certain industry sector, you know, like I've worked in economic development for about 27 years. And sometimes I'll get that question, somebody asks me, community leader, that I never even thought about, or it could be a House of Delegate member ask me a tough question. Well, I don't go to the state or wherever you would think. I go to that group of economic developers that I'm a member of nation, worldwide, global, and just put in the question, and within, you know, hours you start getting you get some responses, and somebody will help you.
Yeah, and these groups should be vetted pretty good so they don't just let anyone in, which is what we're trying to do too. So I may or might not let you in. But what she's saying, like if you look at, like one that I'm in that I've always liked is a Salesforce.com group. So if you ever do Salesforce CRM, it's, oh my gosh, it's so crazy on what you need to know for some Salesforce stuff. So I'm working with a client and I'm doing Salesforce stuff for them. I just can't like look it up necessarily, but I can post a question out there, and these people who are the developers, and these people are excellent at this kind of stuff, they'll answer back. and they'll help you with stuff. People love to be helpful, and so the groups are a great way to do it. There's also alumni groups. There's a lot of local just networking like what we've started. So if you're not active in groups, join some groups. You can join up to 50 within LinkedIn, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing to do. Yes?
To paraphrase Groucho Marx, I wouldn't want to belong to any group that would have me as a member.
Okay, so we don't need to let you in. What's your name? You're funny. I love it. So you're going to network with business professionals when you're on LinkedIn, when you're on Facebook. So it can be more fun, interactive. It could be your neighbor. It could be somebody from church. It could be, that type of thing. We talked about the news feature, and there's a messaging option within LinkedIn. I don't think it's nearly as good or sophisticated as Facebook, but it is there. Okay, so just the stats. We've got a lot more users on Facebook, a lot more monthly visits. It's interesting with our, like who uses what, and ages is pretty, that's pretty much what I thought for the ages. So when we talk about who is on LinkedIn, it's usually the most of people are 35 and over. And it's not, there's plenty of younger people, and it's getting more when they get in the business world. They realize that it's important for them to be in there. The one thing, so the thing with LinkedIn too is it provides a lot of SEO for your business. So you need to be on there, and you need to make sure that you are on there. You don't have to be as active, but on Facebook you should be on there and be extremely active. I know that's kind of it's a hard one. So here's some posting tips for both. Make sure your posts are relevant. Be brief, friendly, and be engaging. And again, like I said, don't be talking about things that your mama told you not to talk about at the Sunday dinner table. You don't talk about religion. You don't talk about the politics and things like that. Share photos, share videos. Those are very engaging for people, and they want to see that. And you'll see people just clicking on things just because they're like, oh, I want to see that. Now, if your video is 15 minutes long, forget it. It needs to be very short, very brief. Ask questions and seek input from people. Groups is a great place to do this, and groups within Facebook and groups within LinkedIn are both places to do that. So groups within Facebook are very, very specific to an industry. So trying to think. Okay, Ken, you're the only person I can think of to pick on. So it's not going to be bad. So Kent is in the marketing, digital media world. So if he wanted to join some groups that were relevant, he would want to join groups that are marketing or social media, those type of groups. So in order for him as an individual, he could dive down further into these platforms by joining some of these groups as an individual and being active in them too. So both on LinkedIn and Facebook. And every once in a while, and I'm guilty of this myself, is I'll post within those groups something and say, hey, does anybody know a good photographer for this area, or for, and the comments that you get back, if you happen to be a photographer, it'd be great if you were active on there, because then you could contact that person, message them and say, hey, would you like to get together for coffee and talk about this? If you're a web designer or a graphic designer, like Catherine is, you could miss an opportunity if you're not active in some of these things. Or maybe you're that great that somebody recommends you and said the best one out there is, so, which is good too. But but I'm always posting things like that, like who does this and who does that and who do you recommend? I mean, Sandy, you've seen some of my posts and you've responded to a lot of them and given me some great resources too. So it's within these groups that you can get some great resources too. If you're a small business, you should be active on those so that you can kind of, if someone asks for somebody who does something and you do it, you better respond to that and say, hey, I think I can help you with that. This is your opportunity. We all get sick of seeing people who post, oh, you got to see my business, I'm the best, blah, blah, blah. Well, here's somebody saying, I need you. I need your, it doesn't get any better than that. And if you don't take take an active role in that and making that happen, you know, you're missing out on an opportunity.
I've known small businesses that were having trouble with the supplier, and I just suggested, well, are you on LinkedIn? Are you belong to an industry within that? It's go in there and ask other folks that's in the same industry, and they've gotten great response and was able to find another supplier to get them out of a jam.
Absolutely, and people are so helpful within those groups too. You would be so surprised. I mean, and it's not just someone else saying, "Well, I can do this." If like Sandy's a good example. If I post something out there that who is good at video, she'd say, "Try this person." It's a recommendation from someone that I trust. But you know what I mean. That right there is automatically an endorsement saying this is someone you know. So either be present in doing it, or make sure that other people are on there being active. And so like in Facebook, I run a group in Facebook, and I'm not kidding. That has almost 11,000 members in the group. And they're from all over the world, and it's a DIY home improvement type thing because I do crazy stuff like that.
Did you see your episode on DIY?
Yes, I was on TV. My husband and I did an episode on DIY Network, and it came out in February. Thank you. And it was really fun. But I started this group about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, because I got frustrated because I was trying to find out answers, and I couldn't find out answers to things. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own group, and it has. And I've got 11,000 members in this group. So people post all kinds of things, from how to paint cabinets, or to how to, replace a toilet, to how to, or they'll just post their projects that they've done, like before and after, which are fabulous, and it inspires people and helps people. I get people all the time. Okay, how do I do sheetrock? From really basic stuff. I'm thinking maybe you shouldn't be doing sheetrock. Maybe you need to call a professional. But you know what I mean. These are the types of groups that, if you get in and this is your business, or even if it's not, even if it's fun for you, it's important to be part of those conversations. Brand your company image. It's really easy to do on social media, so that's why I'm like, do your posting being mindful of what you represent, and then your contests. Be timely. You won't want to post the first walk on the moon tomorrow, obviously. So those type of things. The other thing is, when I talk about posting ahead, I really like doing that because it's kind of like a check mark in my head. I look at my calendar, it's kind of like done. But if something happens or something becomes a newsworthy event, then you can always add that post as well, or take off something too. So just because you post it ahead doesn't mean that you can't edit it or delete it if you want to. And that being said, if you post something and then you decide, oh, that's probably not good, or I don't like it, or it's got a typo or something, you can always edit it, or in LinkedIn you have to delete it, edit it, which I hate. Twitter's the same way. You can't actively edit like you can in Facebook. Facebook has done a really good job with that, by the way. Yes?
What about using Grammarly with the... I'm finding it works with just about anything I'm bringing up on the computer.
I don't even know what that is. Can you help me with that?
I use it.
It's there's a free and a paid version, and it will let you know if you've misspelled something, or the grammar structure could be better, and gives you suggestions.
Now, does it do the grammar for social media? Because we all know that grammar for social media is not your proper...
What is that?
I would think so, because it's doing it in a...
You said you use it?
I've used it.
I mean, not an Outlook-like program.
I've heard of it before, but I don't think I've ever really done much with
I
it.
haven't neither.
Okay.
So I stepped into it this week.
Okay, well, let us know how it goes.
It'll keep track of your misspelled words for you and stuff.
I don't need anybody to keep track of that.
No, I don't do the paid version. I just do the free one.
My mother was a first grade teacher. I couldn't write her a letter without it coming back to me all marked off. And I'm like, really?
It checks any kind of web fields that you fill out and everything, just like Word does. Give you the green.
So it's an actual platform that you join?
Yeah, I just signed up for the online version, and it runs, I guess, in the background of your web pages.
Oh.
And
That's great.
And so like you fill out a form and it'll pick up a misspelled word, give you the red squiggle or the green squiggle.
Sometimes
just
you
like
want
word.
things misspelled though.
Yeah, and then you just
You
ignore
know.
it. And then you just hover over the misspelled word and it'll show you just like a spell
Okay.
checking word would.
Okay.
So it's caught
Interesting.
a few.
Let us know how that goes for you.
And it's real.
She's a user too.
It's
Might
real.
wanna talk
It's
to
not
her.
really invasive. It's just kind of, you know,
Oh,
it's
good.
not popping up.
It's
on
not
you
like
all
my
the time.
mother. God rest her soul. Sorry, Mom. She really wasn't that bad, but it was kind of bad. All right, I think we've done all those. Okay, so this is my last slide. So I thought this was kind of funny because it's so, this is so typical, right? So, hey, what's the big campaign idea? We're going digital. Facebook, YouTube, a mobile app, Pinterest. Okay, what are we going to do with all these channels? I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Oh, gosh. You know, you just... So, don't be that... And small businesses do this all the time. And I tell them, if they have me come and coach them at all, I say, you know what, use one channel. Use one that you think is going to do the best service for you. And it's 99% of the time Facebook. And LinkedIn, a lot of people need to be on it. You should probably be on it as an individual. You may or may not have to have a company page. You might be able to form a group as an individual within your industry instead of having a regular company page if your company's not that big. So there's a lot of options. If you have questions, especially on LinkedIn with that type of stuff, let me know and I'll give you my honest opinion on it. But I see it all the time. I know you see it all the time. I know you see it all the time. Anybody who works in this industry, I know Valentina sees it all the time. Everybody tries everything and then they can't keep up with anything or do any of it right. So, I mean, would you agree that, concentrate on what you can focus on? And if you're on Facebook anyway, and all your consumers probably are, that's probably where you need to concentrate.
You'll get discouraged pretty quick if you're trying to do it.
Well, and that's why they end up calling people in to say, I need help with this. But I'm like, I'm not posting on 5 different platforms for you. We need to figure out where the engagement is, where it's important, where your end user is, and where the most important place is to put your brand. So that's what's important. It's your brand and creating it and representing it as best you can. Now, I will tell you this. I had a company one time that was not on Twitter, huge company, and when I did a search, and you can search for your companies on these different, and I encourage you to do that, they were like, oh, we don't need to be on Twitter, blah, 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 blah. Well, Twitter was being blown up by people who were unhappy with their services. And that made a determining factor for me, and I took it back to them, and I said, you need to be on Twitter because you need to be addressing these. By ignoring them, it's the worst thing that you can do. So, anytime somebody posts something on your social media about something negative, I encourage people to take it offline and address it immediately and just find out what the problem is. And a lot of times it's something really silly that can just be, and I tell people, call them. If you can't get in a car and physically drive to be in front of them, which is best, call them. Immediately call them if you can. If you can't get a phone number, if you can't figure it out and you have to message them, then sometimes you have to do that. But I'm telling you, do not ignore it. And one little bad review on something can just be a really, really, one bad review and 50 good ones, it's that one people will look at. So, any questions?
On that topic, does anybody use like Google Alerts for some of those services that kind of monitor what's being said about you or your organization?
Yeah, that works really well.
Google Alerts is free, and you just go and sign up using your Google account, and you can tell it you want to follow everything. It's got your name or your company's name or
your personal name or anything.
Anything, and they'll just send you an email with if there's something that somebody
or in the news or anything too, which is nice. So articles and stuff or bad reviews.
So where are the websites in all of this? Are they like the anchor, or are they let go, or?
Well, I mean, that's a question I've had. Sandy's going to answer this.
Okay. I think of a website. First of all, when you're using social media, this is how you find them. if I'm looking at it from a business standpoint now, me as a consumer, I'm more apt to learn about your business by someone sharing something, or I see it on Facebook. But then I'm gonna be able to go to your website and then find out more information and learn more about not only the company, but who's managing it and what their services and so forth. But Facebook or your website is still a critical part of a business. But I would consider Facebook and all these social media channels as part of your marketing team.
Yes.
It gives you more arms and legs to spread out.
Instant access as well. So, if you have a website, it's probably kind of stagnant. You probably have one person who can update it. You probably have to send that information in. So if something crucial were going on with your company, say you had a flood and you needed to close for the day, you probably wouldn't be able to put that on your website. But you could put it on your Facebook page and other places right away to let your people know that might be coming, or like, hey, we had to close today, blah, 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 Noah's coming, or make some kind of joke out of it or whatever. But you wouldn't necessarily be able to do that on your website. But you have to have that as an anchor. I totally agree. And plus, you wouldn't be able to have a company page on LinkedIn if you didn't have a website. So the credibility is there.
So if your freezer tore up and you got all this ice cream and you were giving away ice cream, I would be right on it, but I would learn about it.
We had this conversation this week. There's National Ice Cream Day. She goes and she photographs herself with this giant ice cream cone.
Chocolate dipped.
No.
No.
And I posted back to her, hey, I just see you're doing your contribution for National Ice Cream Day. And she said, this place that I was just in didn't even know it was National Ice Cream Day. What?
There's a major ice cream place just down the road.
We went to a local place one evening, and the little girl had 10 people lined up. And when we got up to the window, I said, yeah, it's National Ice Cream Day. That's why all these people. She was like, did y'all know? And she was on. She's like, that's why we're so busy. So they were dipping faster, but they didn't know either.
Yeah, see, that's not great marketing.
Yeah, they should have used it.
That's why you look at those calendars about what is going on and what is relevant, because you never know. So anyway, any other questions?
Like a pirate day.
Every day's pirate day.
Yeah, I just had a quick one though.
Yes.
Is there an automated system like in LinkedIn specifically that I can post onto all the other social media?
No.
One place.
No. In fact, company pages, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, you can't post to company pages from any of the Hootsuites or anything.
You can in Hootsuite now.
You can now?
Not groups.
Company page?
Maybe you can groups.
Yeah, I don't think you can on company page.
Yeah. You can.
I think you can.
Yeah,
do you?
I think you can, not on your personal profile, but I'm pretty sure you can on your company.
See, I thought it was the opposite. I looked this up recently when we took that webinar. What do you know?
The dashboard we can't use link at the company.
We've got the paid version.
You do it to personal.
Yeah, that's how I thought Hootsuite did too, or any of the.
I don't know about Hootsuite or some of the other ones.
Yeah. Anyway, his question was, I think, doing a post on LinkedIn and going to Twitter, right, or something like that.
So basically, the answer is you have to manually input in each particular
Now,
social media.
if you use something like Hootsuite and you've got Hootsuite connected to your other social platforms, I do it all the time.
Thank you.
I post and tell it and to go to Facebook and to LinkedIn or what have
Hootsuite, you can only have it for 5 accounts on the free version. And they keep adding more and more pro.
Yeah, and there's a ton of them out there. Hootsuite's not the only one. If you Google social media platforms, there's thousands of them out there. So
Hootsuite's good. I like it.
Gives you a create a free account if you have up to 5.
Yeah.
Look
at the notes you took.
Hey, before you get away, a couple things. Please fill out the evaluation. Let's give Sandy a great
Connect with me on LinkedIn and Facebook if you want, but LinkedIn.
Next week, we have a very unique opportunity, and if you're not an artisan, you don't play music, or not an artist, you know somebody, please encourage them to come. We have someone that works in the music industry in Nashville that's coming and leading this, and it's basically on how to be an entrepreneur. It's very unique, and we're very lucky to have someone of his caliber to come and share experience of how you can actually run a business living up to your passion. Again, if it's music, art, please get the word out. You can go to the vastartup.org, or I'll be happy if you want flyers to share, or you'll see it up on our Facebook page. But get the word out on that. And then on August the 10th, our friend Tim Flanagan is going to do a workshop on live streaming. If you want to learn about how you can live stream events for your business, your organization, again, to get more feet out there from a marketing standpoint, that'll be on August the 10th. And then Sandy mentioned that we're involved on the Mountain Empire Red Cross. Linda and Cindy and I.
She's president of the board.
But tomorrow we're having a blood drive. It's amazing that there is such a shortage in the area. You never know that it could be someone in your family or yourself that needs blood.
Yep.
And at our Red Cross headquarters, right off of, depends on how you want to do it, exit 10 off of Lee Highway, kind of across from John Battle at our headquarters, we'll be taking blood, and that'll be between, I think, 1 and 6 p.m. If you want a flyer, but please consider giving.
Yeah, I'll be there 1 to 3. Come see me, Leo.
But that's it. Melinda, Nita, you got anything else?
This was great. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome.
Thank you for your evaluations. And if you didn't sign in, please sign in for us. But thank you, and thanks to all those on streaming with us.
Yes, thanks, guys.